Hi friends, my name is Amanda and welcome to my channel, AceKreates. I am your Tunisian crochet bestie and today we're going to be talking about all of my WIPS. So all of the WIPS that I still have that I've started, say, in the last few months. So if you saw my last few videos, I did a whole finished object video of everything that I completed in spring and summer. And I have a whole bunch of WIPS that I have cast on that I have not completed and that I knew was too much for one video. And so I wanted to break everything down in this video. And so we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of Tunisian crochet, we have some knitting, and so yeah, and I don't have any regular crochet. So we have a lot to get talking about. Grab a cup of something to drink and grab a project and let's get talking about it. So I'm in a little bit of a different location filming today just because it was so much easier just to drag everything out onto the bed and put my projects in order so that I could talk to you without kind of like breaking too much. And it was just easier for me. I'm going out of town soon, and so I also need to decide which project I was gonna take, or maybe two. I think I'm gonna take two projects and I'll cover that when I list them. So the first project that we're gonna talk about is my Day Off Tank, which is a tank top design, Tunisian crochet tank top design by Ashley from Tiny Couch Crochet. This is panel 1. So this has actually been sitting for probably a few months. I kind of lost interest in it because I made some modifications because it's not as much of a, it's not a V-neck design, and I wanted something a little bit more of a V-neck design, and I'm not sure if I'm happy with it. So I am using Camellia Fiber Company's, I don't even have the band, but I'm using her kind of linen blend yarn, and I'll put it all on screen so that you know exactly what colorway and the yarn that I'm using, but it's from Camellia Fiber Company. I'd actually gotten this at Flock in 2024, and I wanted to cast on something that I had Flock yarn because I had definitely gotten a lot of yarn at Flock and I had not an opportunity to cast on anything really from it. And so I wanted to cast on this, and I thought I had 2 skeins of this, and I thought that this tank top would be like a good use of the yarn, and it's a linen blend, so it's definitely giving nice, light, airy design, airy feeling. This is not heavy at all. I'm using random Woolberry Fiber Company berry cashmere in this creamy neutral, white neutral, just as the stripes. I'm using very little yarn for the stripes. And it's a really interesting design, one with the pattern kind of repeat. And I think I went a little overboard on one. I don't think I was supposed to do as deep of a V-neck, because if I see this, I'm a little worried that it's not gonna fit around my bust. So either I didn't cast on a large enough size, or my modifications are just not the greatest and I need to kind of go back to the pattern. So that's where I kind of just decided I'm gonna put it away. And so it's kind of in timeout, and it's been in timeout for a while. And I just have to kind of get interest in it again. And so don't mind, I'm hoping that the background noises aren't too bad. Sometimes there are helicopters flying over and things like that. So I apologize if you see or hear any, well, you won't see anything, but if you hear any background noises, so apologies for that. So I kind of just have to, I pulled back. I actually had done way more than I was supposed to here that's why I have like these little balls. So I just kind of have to decide what's next. I also took off the hook for this project, and I don't know if I made a note about what hook I used. I either used what the pattern called for or one size up. And I'm kind of thinking I used one size up, which I believe the pattern is a 4 and one size up is a 4.5. I don't remember off the top of my head. And so now I'm a little worried that I won't be able to meet the same gauge. So we're just gonna have to see. I have just been really bad at taking notes. In fact, let's check our notebook to see if I wrote anything. I don't even have a page for this staff tank, I don't think. Yep. Nope, don't even have a page in here. So I don't even remember what, oh, that's where my brain has been. I don't even remember what hook size I was using for this project. So I might have to tear it out and just redo it again. The nice thing is the main color I carried up in terms of yarn. And so I would just, you know, have to ball up the stripes a little bit. But honestly, if I don't, I have plenty of the white, so I'm not really worried about that. It's the main color that I was worried about. I also was worried about that, like with the size I was making, did I have enough yarn? But this is how much yarn I still have left of the first ball. And so I do have enough yarn, I think, maybe if I needed to go up a size. So I'm gonna do some like measuring, probably not anytime soon, maybe before the end of the year when I kind of wanna like crank some projects. But I need to do some measuring. I need to see what hook size I was using, and then go from there and just see if this is gonna work for me or if I need to just kind of like frog it and then recast on. But that is my day off tank. I do want this tank because, I mean, just having tanks in Southern California is really great. And I think I'm probably just gonna go back to the original like OG design of the tank, and not do this V-neck, because I just don't really like the way, I don't know if I like though, it kind of looks okay now, but again, this yarn doesn't stretch that much. It was also done with a smaller hook, and so it does not stretch that much, and so I really need to make sure that the bust is whatever size I need it to be with either no negative ease or positive ease, just to get it. And I'm like a 41, 42 inch bust. So that is my day off tank by Ashley from Tiny Couch Crochet. The next project we're going to talk about is my pearl top from Nomad Stitches. It's a Tunisian crochet cardigan. And again, it's another project that's kind of in timeout right now. I was really heavily working on it and invested in it in the month of like July and August. But again, it was ending up, I had to size up for gauge, but it ended up making it super long, and I didn't take out a repeat where you really should have in the body of it. And so now I'm like in this what do I do stage. So it's a really unique construction. So as I mentioned, it's a Tunisian crochet lace cardigan that is constructed first. You do the whole kind of circumference from kind of like opening to opening, so here to here, all the way around, and then you pick up one side of one side of the cardigan, the other side of the cardigan, and then you do your back, and then you seam it together up here. And I basically have everything but the back done, except when I was kind of in my chaos of, is it too long? I tore out part of this, and I think I need to put it back to where it was. because I did take a repeat out at the top here that I need to adjust for in all areas. So like I needed to take out the repeat here, and the repeat in the back. So I had taken out like an hour's worth of work, or an hour and a half, I don't even know, like 8 rows worth of work on one side. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have like probably just put the project down for a little bit and then kind of just reassessed. I'm also having difficulty with the back. So let me show you the cardigan. It's a little bit hard to show because of just the way it's constructed. It's hard to like hold it up. So I'm gonna do my best. So that is actually, so I'm gonna lay it on my body so that way you guys can see it the best as possible. So let's just say that's like that. And this is not gonna go up as quite as high. So that is like that. So it's this gorgeous Tunisian crochet lace design. And I'm really excited to see this blocked out so that the lace work is really much more prominent. But because I had to size up, I really liked the fabric of the 4mm hook. No, I think it's the 4.5mm, and I sized up to the 5. Let me double check because I have the hook in here. Yeah. So the pattern either calls for a 4 or 4.5, and I sized up to the 5 just because my gauge is better here. But I really liked the fabric of my swatch. So I'll show you my swatch. This is my swatch that was done based on what the pattern called for. And I really like this fabric. And in hindsight, I really should have just stuck with this. But this is hours, and like, honestly, I just can't tear it out. I just can't. I can still wear it very much. It's just not quite, it feels a little too gapey in the kind of lace construction, which makes me feel like that the lace isn't going to stand out quite as much as I would like it to. And I feel like with this, it's the same. Now this is the same yarn base, it's just a different colorway, because I was debating over which yarn base to, or which yarn color to use. I had 4 skeins. So this is Woolberry Fiber Company, Berry Cashmere in the colorway Brava. I've had it since 2022, and I thought that this project, 4 skeins of it, would be like the perfect project for it. And that's why I chose to go with this over the kind of more neutral speckled colorway. And so, yeah, it's just, in hindsight, if I could do this over again, like not make another one, because this is like one that is very beautiful, and but it's definitely challenging and time consuming because it is a fingering weight garment, and a fingering weight Tunisian crochet garment, I mean, in any craft, is going to take a lot longer, especially with the complexities of the yarn overs and, or the lace pattern with the yarn overs and the repeats and things like that. It's just super time consuming, and it's a gorgeous pattern. I just won't ever probably see myself making this again, just because it does take so much work. It's like, this is a masterpiece, and I'm, you know, it's that's you do one and done, and that's your masterpiece for it. And so I don't see myself making another one. But I also, it's really hard for me to like think about like tearing out. I mean, this was already hard enough, like tearing out. I think over here I took out like 8 or 10 rows just to see. But then when I took it out, I realized that then my arm circumference may not be wide enough, and it might be too tight on my arm, because the number of repeats that you have here like corresponds to your arm circumference. So you need to make sure that you don't take out too many, so that like it doesn't fit your arm. And so that's just kind of where I'm at with it. It's super complex, and it's definitely not beginner friendly. I would not suggest it. It's a gorgeous design, and it's definitely testing me as a Tunisian crochet maker. I love the fact that I get to do new skills with lace work. Like I've never really done like a full-blown lace project. I've done some like things that require like yarn over knits, and so you yarn over and then you knit and then you like knit into the yarn over on the mesh, so it creates like a mesh panel. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm sorry, but this is just like, so you can kind of see the back. So even on the back, so I picked up in the back here, and now I'm working on the back panels, and it shapes here. And I also don't get the shaping instructions because they're not really written out. They're just like follow in pattern, because it's too complex to write out for every size, which I 100% agree. I think I would have appreciated at least maybe some charts for then each size, so that it was more easier. Like I prefer written out instructions, but at least I could probably write out my own instructions if I had a chart. And I don't feel like I'm just at that spot in where it's a little bit more complex. I have to put a little bit more brain power behind what I'm supposed to do next. I'm just honestly not there. And so I really wanted to finish this before the end of November so that I could enter this into the SoCal Fiber Festival. And at this point, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Who knows? Maybe when later this month, I'll get some, creative juices flowing and just decide to kind of like sit down, concentrate, and figure it out. But right now it's in timeout. So it's a gorgeous, and it's going to be an awesome staple because I don't really have cardigans. Like this is like one of my only cardigans, handmade cardigans. And so I don't really have a fingering weight nice, and it's a short sleeve fingering weight cardigan. So I don't have that in my wardrobe. So I'm really excited to eventually get it. It's just gonna take a little bit more time to think about it. So that is my pearl top from Nomad Stitches. The next project is a knit project, and one that I said, I'm sure there's some clip of me saying I will never ever do this, but socks. I decided, now that I like making sure I didn't accidentally drop stitches, but I cast on socks this summer. I am using the I'm So Basics sock pattern, I believe by Summer Lee. And I'm using just a sock set that I had gotten from Sorella. This is the colorway Thank You and Good Night, from her Knitflix collection, and the colorway Givenchy. So it's like a dark gray with Thank You and Good Night, which is like a very variegated pink, grays, and they're different tones in this yarn. And I really love it. Like I love how it's working out. I'm at the point where I'm supposed to do the heel and I just haven't done it. I also forgot to increase a stitch after the ribbing to get to the specified number of stitches here. So I need to do that here. And so I just need to like put this on my foot and see, is it good, or what's kind of my next step, or do I cast on? It was just like in the moment when I was doing it, I was really interested in it, and then I put it down and now I'm not that interested in it. I would like to just like power through getting this done. But then I know that I'll also have the second sock to do. And right now again, it's like I have all these WIPs right now that I just can't bring like the energy to do it. And so I'm trying to focus on the things that are at this point just bringing me joy. And if that means I have 100 projects, well, I'm never gonna have 100, but if I have a lot of projects just open at the end of the year, that's okay. And I'm gonna give myself the grace for that. And so I'm planning on doing the heel and the toe in the contrasting color as long as I have enough yarn. I'm a little worried I won't have enough yarn, so I might then just do the heel in the main colorway and then just save the toe for the contrasting color. So I'm So Basic Socks by Summerlee. So the next project that I have, and I now found out where my 4mm Tunisian crochet hook is a self-drafted Tunisian crochet tank top for a kid. Super basic, but it's not that far because I had to tear out the straps because I didn't like the neckline here. And so this is just a super basic Tunisian crochet tank top, and I'm using Hobie's Universe, I think, yarn. If not, I'll put it on screen for sure. But it's like a cotton polyester blend, and I think I have enough yarn. My husband asked for matching tank tops between him and my daughter, and my husband has never asked for anything other than the plant holders. And so I started this project, and I just have to get it like it's one of those, it's so basic that it's not like creatively pleasing to me. And so it's just one of those I have to just like sit down and repick up. And I think if I can get one panel done that I'm happy with, then cranking out her other panel and seaming it together will be easy. And then just doing some math to then do his size. I'm hoping that I have enough yarn for both of them because I have five of these. And so I'm roughly, I think I'm okay. So I might size up a hook for him just to like get a little, it's okay if it's a little bit more open in the gauge swatch. So that is a self-drafted tank top, super basic, kind of, I don't know what it's called, but just like a crew neck tank top, maybe a little bit deeper, for my family. So it's just one of those that I have to, again, just don't have the creative energy right now to figure it out and do it, but one day I will. So that is my self-drafted tank top. The next project I have on my hook, I'm actually really excited about, and so it is like one of my regulars, is the Lupine Tank, number 2 for me, by Ashley from Tiny Couch Crochet. It's a pattern in her upcoming book. I did do this, I tested this pattern the first time. I did it in a different yarn, but Ashley's going to be coming to my local yarn store in the new year. And so I had some kind of stash yarn. And so I wanted to use yarn that is sold at the store. And so I'm using some stash Arroyo, Malabrigo Arroyo that I had, along with some scrap Malabrigo Arroyo that I had in this colorway Fuchsia, because I had this idea of like a structured bone corset. I went into a little bit of detail about it at the podcast that I did with Corinne, the owner of the Knitting Lounge. And so this is my Lupine Tank. And I had this idea of the kind of like more structured boned corset look for it. And it's definitely a labor of love because it's not easy carrying all this yarn up. I didn't want to carry it across with the main colorway, which is Arroyo in Moonful Trio. It's a very highly speckled yarn that this pink really goes well with, and it, but there's like pinks and blues and yellows and a lot of colorways in between that kind of in some areas get a little muddy. But I was just trying to use stash yarn for this. I'm making a size larger than I did the first time around because for some reason, even though I met gauge, like my size just didn't turn out the way it was supposed to. It still fit, but it wasn't this like close to the size chart. I was a couple of inches under the size chart. So I made a size up to kind of maybe correct that. Hopefully that's not a mistake, but this way, my goal is to finish this before the end of the year. So that way it's a sample, because when we host Ashley, I will have 3 samples of the projects from the book that will be made with yarn from my local yarn store. So that way people can kind of see some of the options that they have when we have Ashley in store for the signing and things like that. So that is my lupine tank. It's just a little bit slow going, but I finally kind of mastered how to work across without tangling the yarn too much. And I finally just got, well, it doesn't look like it, but I did finally get this in order down here. And so I'm about a little over halfway before I have to start shaping on the panel. The nice thing is that the front and the back panel are the same. So it's just, I have to create 2 of these. And yeah, I don't know if I think I stopped talking about the color work. Oh, sorry, my brain's a little squirrel brain right now. But so I didn't want to carry the yarn. So the only way I could think of it is like carrying the yarn up specifically for this stitch. And it gets locked in the return pass, so I don't have to deal with it potentially causing issues. But I've accidentally like carried the wrong strain and used the wrong strain over. So you can see in a couple of areas here where I've done that. It doesn't matter because it's the wrong side. But I'm gonna try my best the next panel to get it like, and not do that. Again, it's just more of an anal thing on my side because I think that it would look really cool to just to see the carry ups. But that is what it looks like on the right side. And this is what it looks like on the wrong side. So that is my lupine tank number 2 by Ashley at Tiny Couch Crochet. And I'm hoping to have that done before the end of the year. This is like my main Tunisian crochet project right now, minus swatching, because, and I'll talk about this more towards the end of the video, I'm doing a lot of swatching because I have plans. So the next project on my hooks is another Tunisian crochet project, but it's done in the round, and it is a project by, it's a design by Jen at Violet Loops, and I am a little over maybe like a quarter of the way here. This is the Cordillera scarf. I will put the name on the screen that's correct, but I've been calling it the Cordelia scarf and it's not that. I think it's called the Cordillera scarf. Again, it will be on screen. But it's a Tunisian crochet like infinity scarf that's done in the round, so you can create this amazing kind of brioche-esque look, because in Tunisian crochet you carry 1 ball of yarn for your forward pass and then another ball of yarn for your return pass. So by doing that, I can get this like really awesome ribbed look. It's super squishy. I'm using yarn from the Knitting Lounge. It is their Knitting Lounge Seriously sock, and I'm using this green colorway, this like heavily variegated green, tans, browns in the colorway, which is Hovel, and then this sandy seashell. It's called Seashell, but it's like this really nice soft tonal with different kind of shades of like tan in that to create that look. I said I was about a quarter of the way there. I'm at the point where I think I have about almost 50 grams of the first 2 skeins left. I have 4 total skeins. I think what I had said originally that I was going to go until the 2 skeins are done and then switch it and reverse it so that the Witch's Hovel, the darker color, becomes the stripe and the lighter color becomes the background. I was thinking about doing that at the halfway point. And I might still do that, but the other option that I'm kind of toying with is right at about 50% of each skein used, I will switch, and then so that way I will have things in like 4 panels for the whole design. It's made for about 1,200. Well, I'm making the larger size, which is about 1,200 yards of yarn. Each yarn is about 380 some odd yards in a skein. So I'm thinking about making it longer than the pattern calls for. That's where I'm just kind of seeing if I want to adjust the length. This is going to be a shop sample, and so I really wanted to showcase Tunisian crochet in the round. That's one of the things I try to do at the shop, is to showcase different techniques of Tunisian crochet to get people like interested in Tunisian crochet, thinking they can, this is pretty easy. And what's really nice is it's an easy repeat. And so it's just slow going because I'm using fingering weight yarn. This pattern does come in a DK weight as well. So Jen gives you 2 choices. You can get the fingering or the DK, or buy the packet with both in it. And she'll give you the counts and everything that you need for the DK weight version. It's super mindless. And so it's just because it is a bit smaller circumference. I wish I had the Tunisian crochet hooks that have, just for this project, just to have both hooks on the same without having to do the cord, just one solid wood with the double-ended hooks, because I think that would make things easier, because this kind of gets a little willy-nilly. And so that's my only complaint, and that's not a pattern complaint. That's just I didn't want to wait to cast it on to like go find that hook. I just wanted to use what I had, and so I am using a pretty short cord. Not my shortest though. I don't know why I'm not using my shortest. Maybe I don't know why. But that is my Cordillera scarf, infinity scarf. It's super, like, look at that stretch. It's super squishy. This is gonna be gorgeous, kind of like infinity so I'm really excited. This has gotten moved a little bit down because I'm not so rushed to make it before the end of the year. But it's on kind of my priority list. And so I would love to get it done. Actually, now that I think about it, I was thinking I could get this done before the Fiber Fest and enter this into the Fiber Fest, because the Fiber Fest Fiber Fair, you can only enter 1 per category. And since I'm either going to enter that pearl top or my cabled Tunisian sweater in the fair as the sweater category, there's either a scarf, shawl, or accessory category. I can't remember the categories off the top of my head. But I thought that this would be gorgeous. And then people would think this is knit, and it's not. And I love surprising people with Tunisian crochet when they think it's knit. And I say, actually, it's crochet. And they're like, what? And it's just, I love kind of just surprising people with that. So Jen at Violet Loops Designs. So, and I've tested a lot for Jen, including my first Tunisian in the Round project, which was a oversized cowl that I very much love. And so that is my Cordillera scarf. The next two projects are actually knitted. So this is my acorn sweater test for Callie at Needles and Life. And she already has the mini version, like the kids version out. And so she was looking for testers for the adult version. The reason I applied to test this one is because she only required, it was an 8-week testing period. And normally I don't sign up for things under 8 weeks or under 12 weeks actually. But because she said all we needed to have completed in 8 weeks was the yoke and one sleeve, I said, okay, I can do that. I probably will have most of it completed within the 8 weeks, but I didn't, with knitting, I'm much slower, so I didn't want to kind of pressure myself. And so it actually started flying off my needles really, really fast. I'm using Royal Bee yarn in the colorway, I think Raspberry Tart. I had gotten this at a trunk show. I don't think they have this colorway still anymore because they changed owners, and I'm not sure if they're dyeing the old colorways, but it's on their DK base, and it's a superwash nylon blend, and it's super soft, super stretchy. So I'm making size 5 because I wanted something a little oversized. It's a circular yoke design. It's a super easy pattern, super beginner friendly. I had only done one circular yoke before, which was the ranunculus. I had done some raglan before, but this was my second circular yoke. But it's a pretty easy design, or like easy pattern for beginner makers, and so I would definitely recommend it so far. The pattern's supposed to come out in maybe mid-November. The pattern, like, feedback is due in early November for us, so I would say like mid-November for this. So definitely keep an eye on Callie's socials for this. I am just at the point where I split 4 sleeves, and so I've got a couple of rows. I'm going to do a couple more rows of the body before switching to one of the sleeves so I can get the sleeves done. This and that lupine tank are the 2 projects I'm going to be taking to Michigan when I travel. And so I want to be able to like crank out the sleeve, one sleeve. And I really, I've seen a lot of people do both sleeves and then see how much they need for the body. And so I think I'm gonna do that. Normally I don't. I like to complete the body first, but I want to see if this changes my mind on like doing not the body first, just to ensure like a more precise, better fit. So I am making size 5, which I think will end up with like maybe like a 47, 48 finished bust, or up to a 50, which will definitely be more positive ease on me than is recommended for the pattern, but it was the look I was looking for in this. And I definitely love a pink sweater. Pink looks really good on me. And so, and this time I did leave my sleeves, instead of barber cord or scrap yarn, I just put it on extra wires for my needles. I'm using wooden needles this time. I actually had a snafu where I had to size up just because I'm a much tighter knitter, and so in the round. And so I sized up to a 4.5. And at some point, right when I was at the split, I broke my needles. So I had to get replacement tips. And I had some trouble with the like cast on, underarm cast on. I was trying a new technique for a video that I saw where you cast on half the number of stitches that the pattern recommends, and then you use the excess yarn the next time around to create additional loops. And that seemed to work once I tinked back and just basically took out what I did, because it looked like pearls. Like, I don't know if I think I did my backwards loop cast on wrong. And so the first time, and then I did it again, but this time I was able to, because my working yarn wasn't coming out, I think in front, it was coming out behind. And so it was just creating issues, but I was able to fix that and basically redo my underarm cast on, both the regular stitch and the added on stitch that second time around when I came around. So I just kind of redid it like manually with my hands. And I do like the look better. It's hard to tell, but I do like it better. So it's a cute textured, you know, it's not overly textured. The yoke, at this point, you're done with the textures. So the increase is through the textures. Like you stop increasing after you're done texture. And so now it's just literally a stockinette project. So I will be picking up for sleeves and do at least one sleeve. And then we'll work on the second sleeve probably before I reattempt the body. So yeah, that is my acorn sweater test from Callie at Needles and Life. So that is everything that I have been working on. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching, friends. If you really enjoyed this video, and you want to support my channel, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. I do podcasts. I don't have a set frequency right now. I'm hoping to get back into like at least a monthly filming for everything that I've been kind of working on for the month, if not more frequent, but I haven't been able to, and just honestly haven't been motivated to. And so today I decided that I was going out of town and I really should sit down and film this and get this out. So I'm not sure. I will probably be back in a month or so. I'm definitely planning on filming something at the SoCal Fiber Fest.
Hi friends, editor Amanda here, and it's actually 2 nights before SoCal Fiber Fest that I am editing this. I sat on it for about a month and a half. So actually really exciting plans for SoCal Fiber Fest. A month and a half ago, I didn't think this wasn't in the cards, but I now work at the Knitting Lounge, and we had a flood recently. And so we are now vending at the SoCal Fiber Fest. And of course, as your Tunisian Crochet bestie, I am going to be representing Tunisian Crochet. So definitely come check it out. See what kind of yarn you want to squish at the fair. We have some exclusive things that we are including our own line, as well as like Knitting for Olive, Sandus Garn, Double Sunday, and Tin and Tin Line. So definitely come check it out. Alrighty, let's finish this.
So thank you so much for watching, friends. I will see you in the next video. Bye now.